Hi, it's Leah, here to tell you about Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. He's a pain specialist located in southern Palm Beach County, so if you are somebody that you know is suffering in pain, Dr. Pannozzo is the one you guys need to call. And make that call today, because living in pain is no way to go through life. Dr. Pannozzo has been in practice now for more than 49 years. He's treated more than 73,000 patients for pain. He's an expert when it comes to diagnosing the pain, and he has had huge turnarounds. In fact, people living with scoliosis, he has had nearly a 100% turnaround. Lumbar pain as well. If you've got lower back pain, if you're suffering with migraines or flat feet pain, maybe pain in your elbows, your neck, your shoulders, Dr. Pannozzo can help you. And the greatest thing is he can help you without drugs, without surgery, and without having to go through weeks and months of rehabilitation. Give him a call today. Set up an appointment. It's 561-381-5800. Tune into his show Sundays, 11 to noon. And now, here's this week's edition of the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour.
So what you heard from Leah is true.
Absolutely true.
Absolutely. And even the doc agrees. I want to say hello to my esteemed people here. Colleen on the board takes all your calls, and she's falling asleep right now, so please call her to wake her up. We have Dr. Anthony Pannozzo over here, Freddy Santori of Amp2.tv. We got Gio in the group up in Orlando, and we got Linda. Well, we have a big crew here, buddy.
Big crew, big show. It's a big show.
We ought to start selling sponsorships to this show, but we don't want to do that. So today I want to let everyone know we are live on 12:30 a.m., which is the station you're listening to, and we're also on 94.3 FM BZT.
Talk into the mic, like.
And BZT.
There you go.
And always remember, people, we're letting everyone know the days that Dr. Pannozzo isn't live on ZZR during the Dolphin season. But since they're playing at 4 o'clock, we're live here today. And I want to thank all those people up at 860 a.m. in Atlanta, or what we call Hotlanta, for sending in all these questions and really enjoying what's going on with Dr. Pannozzo. And you know what? We could cure everybody if they just listen to this show and understand one thing. When you read an article in the magazine, make sure that article says can cure the symptom, not mask it. Like you'll have people that are taking medications. Tell me if I'm right, Doc. When you take a drug for pain, it goes into the brain, and the brain doesn't have any more pain for a couple of days. Is that normal?
Well, narcotics is effective in the brain, not at the source of the pain.
Right.
So you don't want to take that kind of thing. That's why we don't prescribe anything like that.
Right.
Because I'm not interested in your brain. I'm interested in your leg,
so
your
those
lower back,
So in other words, the people that come into you are smart.
Yeah.
Okay, like Freddie and I. Well, we always do the coach's corner, but before I do, I want to give out the numbers to call.
It's surprising how many people refuse to get smart, though.
Why is that?
It to them, they still don't believe it. I mean, it's just, but that's human nature.
Yes.
It's okay.
I guess people have to listen to the show more and more to understand that we're here to help you.
Yeah. What's the number now?
The number to call Dr. Pannozzo and ask him a question is 800-889-0267. Let me repeat that. 800-889-0267. We're gonna jump around a lot today because with the NFL, there's a lot of things going on, and we have our expert who's sitting right there, Dr. Freddy Santori. He's not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor.
We just like Rich. So go get him, buddy.
Well, I want to thank and say good morning to you guys. Thank you for letting me be on. But I wanted to talk on a disease that's hitting the NFL really, really hard. And there was
encephalopathy.
Oh, there you go. And there was a lawsuit put up by the old players, and I think there was a lot of money thrown from the NFL for these injuries. But concussions, Doc. Concussions in NFL players. I think that's the thing we were talking about today. A lot of players, and again, I follow the Jets, and Molden has a concussion. He's light sensitive. He has headaches. He has vertigo. And the NFL can only approve you now to get back on the field.
Wow.
If it isn't for their procedure, and if you don't pass, you sit on the bench until they say you can pass.
Who? Who is this?
The NFL.
Who's the NFL? Who?
National Football League.
They're the largest nonprofit in
Not
America.
the organization. It's somebody.
No. The NFL has in place. You can't play.
How do you do that? Who's in charge of that?
The NFL appointed a doctor to every team.
A doctor.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the doctor will do the test, give it to the NFL, and they will determine when you can get back on the field. And when you're hit and you're in concussion mode, they question you and they say, okay, how you feel, what day is it, yada, yada, yada. And if they feel you cannot get back on the field, you're out of the game. But my question, let's assume you're out of the game, you're diagnosed with a concussion, vertigo, headaches, all these pains, Doc, sound very familiar.
Yes, they do.
Tell me what you got.
They're all from the base of the skull and the first cervical vertebra. You cannot hurt the brain, and there are tests for the brain, for brain injury. That should not be even considered. You have a CT scan you could get. You have a EEG that you could get, and that tells you if there's any brain injury. And then there are tests you can do, addition and subtraction and so forth. But most of these symptoms you're talking about are from the neck. And I noticed that from the very beginning. I said, oh, my God, look at this big payment for what? I mean, it's all neck stuff. But who's an expert in necks that determines this?
On that field,
Nobody.
Same thing with the hamstrings.
That's the problem. See, you have physicians in charge who have no experience in this. I do, because it's what I do for a living every day. Same thing with autism. Those are neck injuries also. You have nobody diagnosing that who actually has experience with that.
So shots from...
I do it every day of the week.
So those shots that they say that kids take to get immune, does it...
No.
Okay.
No, that's really stupid.
See, but I think what you're touching on, and a lot of people are going to be upset, and I understand that. Don't call me screaming. No,
okay. But I want you to call.
We want you to call. But we're sensitive to the fact that something new may just be correct. What I'm saying is that what Dr. Pannozzo is placing here, there was a test done by the Department of Veteran Affairs and Boston University. They got $1 million grant from the NFL.
Uh-huh.
Okay, they did 165 dead NFL players, and they found that you can only do this test. They can only do this test if you die.
No, wait a second. Let me just say this.
What test?
So in other
You're
words,
talking about cutting the brain up.
So in other words, what we're saying that
CTE tissue.
You can't get cured to get rid of it. You got to die first. Well, now I see what the problem is.
Because what they're talking about is that the brain swells, and they're trying to line it up. It was linemen, mostly linemen that play in the NFL.
Yeah, jeez.
And they have swollen brains.
All right. Can you do a slow motion thing in your brain?
Yes, absolutely. No.
All right.
No, wait a minute. What do you say?
Slow motion of our brain. We're going too fast.
Slow motion of a lineman. Okay. So he's crouching down there, one hand down, and his knees bent, right? And he's ready to go. Where's his neck?
It's attached to his
shoulder. Way up like that. It's the same thing with the bicycle, and same thing with motorcycle guys. They get hurt, and their heads are way up like that. You have to be able to diagnose a bad neck. You can't just assume these things.
And they're hitting with the shoulders that affects the neck because they're going right in or going right in with the head.
Well, they're hitting right here and they're going back.
Exactly.
And you can watch them.
Well, when we coach, we try to keep the head down.
Right. I have a big TV, a 70-inch TV, and you can really see these things happening. And then they do a replay. And so you can actually watch these injuries taking place.
Yes.
I mean, you can't believe it. And they're being misdiagnosed all over the place. Now, when they throw money at players like that, there's a lot of political stuff there. They're just transferring cash around. There's no proof of this. None of it. And I'd like to see it if there was. And I have an article here.
Maria, I mean...
This is a consensus statement on concussion in sport. The 4th International Conference on Concussion in Sport held in Zurich, November 2012. And they just said, don't get too serious about this. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy, they said it doesn't really exist. There's no connection.
Oh, really?
No, there's not. But those things you're talking about, the vertigo, the chronic headache, light sensitivity and all that, it's all from the neck. And why do I say that? Because I treat it every day. We treat it every day.
Well, Doc, check this out. $1 billion settlement. For 5,000 players.
Wow.
$1 billion.
Yeah, these players are going to walk away with a lot of money to retire on. And if I was them, I'd do it too.
But are these the dead people that they checked out?
No, these are live people.
Oh, okay.
5,000 former players who are now suing over past head injuries.
It reminds me of this big payoffs that the industry does. Remember the breast implants?
Yes.
You have inert material that doesn't do anything, just hangs in there, and they got millions of dollars paid out. I mean, how the hell does this go on? I can't understand it. Huh?
They leak.
It still is inert.
I know, but you get leaky breasts.
Doesn't.
That goes one for
the. Don't squeeze them too hard.
Don't squeeze it too hard. When you go on a plane, did you hear the ones about you go on the plane and they blow up like a balloon and burst?
Look at all these swains around who want to squeeze these things and they're not allowed anymore. You know, it's just not right.
You know, this is an X-rated show today, so all you children that are listening.
Oh, talking about X-rated, I was thinking about this. You know, who has a better sex life than anybody?
Who?
The chicken.
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 No, the rooster.
Chicken and the rooster.
Okay.
Did you ever open an egg it's not fertilized?
No.
No. So these roosters are going really crazy. I want to come back as a
Puerto
rooster.
Rico, I've seen that. He wants to come back as a rooster.
Rooster.
There you go. I think that.
No, I want to come back as a thoroughbred horse.
Wow, you gotta be thoroughbred.
I mean,
otherwise it's just a horse.
No, I don't want to be a horse. I want to be a stud.
Oh,
That's what I want to be. I want to be a stud.
I thought you were a stud.
Colleen, am I a stud? Okay, I woke her up. Come on. Okay, so let's.
All right, so to conclude this particular point, a lot of NFL players, Molden, unfortunately, will not be playing tomorrow. Wow. Because he has a concussion. He's wearing sunglasses, light sensitivity. He hasn't been hitting. Now, he got kicked in the head, which turned his spine.
Well, see, so you're describing an injury there.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And he will not be playing tomorrow. So my question is, and again...
Listen, we know that NFL does not have the best medical. We know
they
that.
don't. And they have the most injuries, which is the scary part.
And it's the worst medical. Their arrangement is absolutely... dumb. I mean, it's run by a surgeon. They don't treat things; they operate things. You know, it's a big difference.
Well, call out to a person that's been diagnosed with a concussion. Would like you to come to Dr. Pannozzo's office.
Yeah.
Let's film it. And Doc, I think you're onto something here.
Oh, I am absolutely.
The vertigo and the light sensitivity and the headaches are all in the same area.
Yeah.
And I think that when you remove what you do, we won't have that problem.
Well, we've seen that. I personally have seen it with two patients, and now from that, Dr. Pannozzo has gotten a couple of other people with vertigo, and no one thought you could cure vertigo.
I know, and that's just the scary part.
Well, what we've always been taught was vertigo is in your ears, so that means the ear doctors.
Right.
But they don't have any cure for that.
No.
There's no proof that any of that works. The crystals move around. Are you kidding me?
I love that one.
Oh, that's been a big thing. Yeah, that's
crystals
exactly
move around. Yeah.
Right.
I said, where the hell are they moving to?
I didn't even know what I didn't know what the crystals were to begin with. Oh, yeah.
I remember that lady, the younger one. She would stop at a red light, and their head would go like this, and she would get the vertigo.
Yeah.
She could not recreate that after I treated it. And you know what it took to do it? One shot.
Well, the amazing thing is that
now people are saying that Pannozzo's out of his mind. You can't do that with one shot. Yes, we do it with one shot.
And the funny thing is, Doc, I hear Pannozzo's out of his mind a lot. but the bottom line here is that the more out of your mind you are, the more these symptoms are falling into place.
They are. Yeah.
One by one. Well, now, if you do the concussion bit and you come in and you leave and go get examined, because I'm dying to see what they're going to say.
Well, we still have not had one person. I've given his number out personally. I've given this number out. If you've gone to Dr. Pannozzo with the pain you came in with and you still have it, call us.
That's right. We want to see that.
Well, you know what it is? I think what people don't understand is sometimes you can't believe everything someone tells you. And not because they're telling you the wrong thing. They don't know there's an alternative. The only thing that could happen when you go to see Dr. Pannozzo is two things could happen. You get cured and you never get the pain again, or it didn't work.
That's right. You're no worse off than when you walked in.
No, there's nothing there that could hurt the body at all.
Yeah, there's no permanent injury. Like, for instance, a surgery is a permanent injury.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do with that scar there? I mean,
Yeah. Sometimes you come out worse.
Yeah.
And my favorite golfer got operated again. I mean, that's...
Same guy?
Same guy.
Tiger
would.
on his back, I think.
He went to Salt Lake City, and some guy named Rich operated him twice, the second time. Now, here's the problem. Golfers need a range of motion which is without pain, because in order to swing that club head, we've talked about this a lot, in order to swing that club head, every part of your body from the top of the head onto the foot has to move in sequence. Otherwise, that club head's not going this way, it's going this way or this way. So when you get a pain, you now have a inflammation of a ligament. Okay, that's what it is. Inflammation, not muscle, ligament. All right, now where is that ligament? That's what I do for a living. I diagnose where it is, and then we treat it, and then that pain leaves. If you don't know where it is, you can have a lot of treatments and then beg the surgeon to relieve you. The surgeon should not do that on a golfer, because you need range of motion without pain.
That's right.
To swing that club head. Are you golfers getting it? Okay. So now poor Tiger, and I predicted a couple of years ago that he wouldn't play. My brother said, "You're out of your mind. How can you predict?" I said, "I know my work. The guy's not going to play."
I remember you saying that to me.
Yeah.
His accuracy is off.
Yeah, well, he can't be
range is
accurate
off.
because the range of motion of all these parts that have to work in sequence is disturbed.
Right.
And instead of, see, what we would do with it, we would not operate at all or recommend an operation. What we would do is do the swing in front of a camera, and he would have to, any golfer, this is what we do, this is our school. The school starts with the science. And we have a swing to produce the pain that they're complaining about. And then we find out where that is, treat it, and repeat the swing in front of the camera. And you'll see a big difference. You'll see the swing is now normal after the treatment. And this only happens in 10 minutes. So how much scientific can you be? I mean, this is the top of the line. You just don't operate on the basis of a MRI. That's the worst test there is.
Right.
It doesn't tell you cause and effect. It doesn't tell you the dynamic system that goes on to produce that pain. It doesn't tell you that. Mm-hmm. It just gives you anatomy, a two-dimensional look at the spine. But that's not enough. You have to know how the thing works, and you got to diagnose it properly before you know where it's from. And the report from an MRI does not tell you that. They tell you everything. It doesn't tell you where the pain's from,
Right.
or why. So the why is as important as the treatment. You have to know why it's painful, not only where, but why, and then you have to correct all of that. It's an engineering problem, a physics problem. Mm-hmm. It's not a surgical problem.
It's taking a look at medicine in a whole different light.
Yep.
You know, Harvey is pitching today for the Mets. They took him off the rotation. He's pitching today and maybe one more game at the end of the year. When they need him most. But the bottom line here is Andrew and Boris, the agent, have increased pressure on the game to change the game. They're now saying 180 so-so innings, and they shut you down. This is the agent and the doctor talking.
Wow.
Now, Doc, his skill level, the operation did not change his skill level.
Was that the Tommy John?
Tommy John. I mean, he's always been a good pitcher, right? Well, he's been stinking up the joint the last couple of starts. So they don't want Tommy John surgery to get a black eye.
Well, it should.
I understand that.
No reason
so what
for
do they
Tommy
do?
John. Absolutely no reason for Tommy John surgery. I treat elbows every day.
But Doc, you know what
and
they're doing?
There's no reason for that.
They're
serious.
reducing the innings and blaming the pitcher's throwing the innings.
I blame the surgeon for that.
Now,
not
I
the
got
pitcher.
something that nobody talks about. He's done 178 innings, right? He has pitched over 400 less pitches than Strasburg did.
Wow.
Okay, they don't look at the pitch count. They're looking at the innings count because they don't want the Tommy John surgery to get a black eye. Can you believe that?
Tommy John surgery should never be done. The thing is a monster. It's stupid.
Well, you've taken care of it. I don't mean to interrupt, Freddie. I know personally, I've seen three people that had problems with their elbow. And he fixed all three of them. And the guy was like your height, but really big, and I think he gave him two shots. He was so bad, Freddie. I said, hey, you're not wearing a tie today. He said, I can't make the knots.
You can't make the knot. You can't lift your
He
arm.
couldn't lift his arm. So at lunch, I said to the waitress, give me the check. I drove him over to Dr. Pannozzo. And he, like everybody else, he said, I don't want to get a shot. I said, just listen to me. And then after he got the shot, he said, oh, wow. Oh, man.
He fixed his tie.
Called me up the next day and said, Les,
It's true.
I was playing basketball with my kid. I said, really? He said, this guy is like God. I said, no, he's really knows what he's doing.
You know what it is?
People don't believe it.
You have to know the anatomy.
Right.
You have to know how it's made and what it's supposed to do. There's a ligament, muscle, and bone. That's all there is.
Mm-hmm.
There is no this little Tommy John ligament that you have to replace. The whole thing is bizarre. I mean, it's bizarre thinking. Where was this surgeon in anatomy class? I mean, I just got to understand this.
What's his name, Tommy John?
No. Tommy John was the first pitcher for the Yankees that had it done.
Okay, that's why I didn't. Okay.
Yeah, there's a guy in town who went to the University of Miami, a surgeon, who wants to operate on sacroiliac joint. And I saw one of those. And it's just as painful as can be after the surgery. So I had to treat it and take that pain away. But the sacroiliac joint does not move. You don't have to operate that. There are other places that cause the pain over the sacroiliac joint,
Right.
which these surgeons don't know.
Right.
You understand?
Absolutely.
The problem? So you never want to get operated unless somebody like me, a diagnostician, that's all I do every day is diagnose your problem, says you should do it, or the treatments didn't work, which we would know rather quickly. In my office, it's 2 days. If you don't get better in 2 days, maybe 3, I mean, you're in the wrong place.
Well, Tanika from the Yankees did not do the Tommy John surgery. He elected not to go that way.
Smart man.
And I saw him pitch against the Mets on Friday night. I'm gonna tell you, this kid can pitch. Lights out. I mean, he's Japanese. He made 3 mistakes. They beat him.
If he's got a muscle problem, he won't be able to hold a baseball. Okay, but
Correct.
that's all treatable because you see the muscles that control the hand, the wrist, starts at the elbow, but it starts like this. Many sources of that muscle, and all these, and you got to chase them all to get them treated, and that's all it is. So you just wait, take care of that one, wait.
It's a process.
Yeah. It's a process, but you know where it is. It's muscular. Okay. Now, if you can't open your elbow like this, can you see it on TV?
Yeah.
If you can't open your elbow, then it's ligamentous, not muscular.
That's right.
So that's all there is. There's a ligament and muscle and bone, and nerves do not come into this at all. Mm-hmm. And so you diagnose each part of the joint that's causing, find out what's causing it, each part, treat it separately, and then you're home free. You don't need a surgery. You should never have a surgery on an elbow. Why? Because you need a normal range of motion, and that you have scar tissue you can't deal with.
But Doc, this is what I'm saying. They're beginning to crack the shell. There are pitchers that don't need it. There are things that are coming up on it. So what do? They're going to limit innings. Because the outcome of the operation has to be protected. Because there's a lot of money to do this operation.
Well, you're protecting the surgeon is who you're protecting.
That's right.
You're not protecting the player.
Not at all.
The player should not be subjected to that.
That's
if the surgery's any good, he should be cured. I mean, when you come to my office, I'm going to cure you. I'm going to give you a normal range of motion.
That's right.
Without pain. That's your cure.
That's what's happening right now.
What's happening to these surgeons want to protect themselves and their reputation. Don't do it, people. Don't do it.
That's what it's coming down to. It's taking care. You know, when I used to coach, I used to tell my kids, if you decide to bunt or you decide to do something different is not bad. Different can be good. So this form of treatment is different. There's nothing wrong with it. It works. Maybe it's an alternative to things that they've been doing that do not work. That's the bottom line.
Well, we didn't worry about all those techniques that these surgeons come up with. I mean, they're looking to solve a problem that they perceive. You know, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with what they're doing, except we went to the anatomy. You understand, how is it made? What is it supposed to do?
That's the thing.
That's how you know how to treat it. Otherwise, you don't make it false like that, Tommy John. What the hell is that? That's a little ligament not that big. That's all it is.
About an inch big, right?
Yeah, you don't even want that.
About $260,000 big.
Yeah, you don't need it.
Wow.
You don't need it.
Wow,
These owners should be shopping these guys around instead of submitting them to the surgery like that.
Well, Harvey has a new contract coming up. What's he worth? $20 million a year?
Mm-hmm.
For that little $260,000 operation? A lot of money, Doc. It's a big game out there. What about these college players?
You know, we treat those elbows for under $500. It's a normal.
My God,
that's the problem. We got to charge $260,000.
Yeah, then we'll get people to come and take advantage.
And people take it seriously.
What Freddy said is so true because people think, oh, $260,000. I mean, the guy must know what he's doing to get $260,000. Here's this guy that's charging $500. Here's what I always said: if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
It's a camel.
It's a camel, right? Here's where I don't understand. Here's a guy that buys a football team or a baseball team. Billions of dollars he pays for this. And he's got athletes that he's paying $25 million. Adamakan Suh gets $40 million the first year.
That's ridiculous.
$30 million the second year. Okay, so if he gets hurt, that's guaranteed. What did you want to say? Wait a second. I heard about this doctor called Dr. Pannozzo. The NFL, the substance that what he gives is not a banned substance for the NFL. Why wouldn't you go and get that $40 million player to play?
Because Dr. Pannozzo is not part of the repertoire of the game.
The circle.
That's right, the inner circle. Right. His medicine is not caught on yet. But I'll tell you something, if it does get caught on, forget about it. You'll be so busy we'll never see you again.
No.
Actually, we're not, because we cure everything quickly. We don't treat people forever. I mean, you don't.
Doc, you have a line about 6 miles long.
Well, I mean, what would you do if somebody, whoever's listening out there, if you had a migraine headache and vertigo, and you've gone through every kind of thing there is, and you come in to see this guy, and you walk out the next day, and you call me and say, hey, I don't have this anymore. But you spent a fortune when you took Botox and was rushed to the hospital.
Or anti-inflammatories or anything you took. Doc, but even hamstrings, okay? Concussions, we added to the list? Holy mackerel.
Yeah, it's all under the banner of a musculoskeletal injuries, and that's what I do for a living. Yeah. Surgeons don't do it, chiropractors don't do it, physical therapists don't do it, neurosurgeons don't do it, orthopedic surgeons don't do it. They do procedures, but not manage of the painful problems that we do. And I do manage them. There's no question about that. I just heard just yesterday some of these players that you're talking about are still going to Germany for the stem cells.
Stem cell, yes.
Listen, people, that is the stupidest thing there is. You cannot believe how dumb that is. Stem cells are only effective in utero before you're born. They don't do anything outside of that. You can't change a stem cell into a ligament. How do you do that?
I was just going to ask you that.
They bombard the area with stem cell, and they say that helps heal. Peyton Manning, Bartolo Colon. There goes your two
They're
people.
Dumb. That it's all.
No, they're the two people. That's the whole reputation to this whole game. Those two guys. Peyton Manning for the neck.
Oh, right.
And Bartolo Colon for the pitching arm. Bartolo's 42 years of age. He just won his 15th game.
And
Peyton Manning is super duper.
Yeah, he's 39 years old.
What did they do?
Peyton Manning is a quarterback for the Denver Broncos.
I mean, he had this procedure done?
He had the procedure done in his neck because...
Well, we don't know what he had done.
Well, I'm just telling you what I read. Peyton Manning went to Germany, and they put the stem cell in his neck. He wasn't supposed to play anymore. Peyton Manning gets hit a certain way, it's going to bust his neck open. Done. He's done.
Do you see when he got hit 3 times in that game, and they all
everybody ran?
That would not be true. Those are all treated. They're only ligaments. Listen, what else do you have in there?
I don't know.
Well, the anatomy is you have a bone. Okay, the bone has connectors, which are ligaments, and muscles that move it. Okay, that's all you got there. And you have a nerve that you can't even find. If you were looking for it, you couldn't find it. They're so small.
And they're going to put a milkshake of stem cells in there.
And all they had to do was put a steroid in there, heal the ligament structure. That's all they had to do.
They don't approve it here, so you got to go overseas.
Yeah, no stem cells.
Good.
I think only for the heart.
Oh, good.
Only for the heart here.
No way.
We're going to take a break. And then we're going to come back. We're going to talk about some things, ask some questions.
We took
Colleen, 90 seconds.
Talked about
Have a good one. We'll be back.
Hi, it's Leah, here to tell you about Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. He's a pain specialist located in Southern Palm Beach County, so if you or somebody that you know is suffering in pain, Dr. Pannozzo is the one you guys need to call. And make that call today, because living in pain is no way to go through life. Dr. Pannozzo has been in practice now for more than 49 years. He's treated more than 73,000 patients for pain. He's an expert when it comes to diagnosing the pain, and he has had huge turnarounds. In fact, people with living with scoliosis, he has had nearly a 100% turnaround. Lumbar pain as well. If you've got lower back pain, if you're suffering with migraines or flat feet pain, maybe pain in your elbows, your neck, your shoulders, Dr. Pannozzo can help you. And the greatest thing is he can help you without drugs, without surgery, and without having to go through weeks and months of rehabilitation. Give him a call today. Set up an appointment. It's 561-381-5800. Tune into his show Sundays, 11 to noon.
You're listening to Dr. Pannozzo's Sports and Medicine Hour with Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. If you have constant pain and want to talk about how to get rid of it without surgery or medication, or simply want a second opinion, call Dr. Pannozzo now at 1-800-889-0267 to get your pain issues resolved. Now, more of Dr. Pannozzo's Sports and Medicine Hour.
You know, since we're live all over the country, I just want to make sure. Colleen, is my hair look okay? Okay. I mean, come on, I could be a star and not even know that. Doc, you want to talk about something before we get started about Palm Beach?
Wait.
I'm sorry.
Get out some numbers and then let Doc.
Okay, you got some people. Okay, go ahead.
Give out some numbers, the telephone numbers.
If you want to talk to Dr. Pannozzo today on the show, it's 800-889-0267. I'll be more than happy to answer any call. You've got a complaint?
Chat box is open on Pannozzo.tv.
Yeah, chat box is open on Pannozzo.tv. And Pannozzo.tv, you can see the show. So call us up. 800-889-0267.
I can't be challenged. You know that.
That's why.
Somebody challenged Dr. Pannozzo.
My ego is too big.
I haven't paid. Look, I haven't paid for that for dinner yet.
Somebody challenged Dr. Pannozzo.
Yes, we want you to challenge Dr. Pannozzo.
You got a phone call.
Okay, I got a phone call. Hi there, who's this?
Keith.
Hello?
Keith?
Keith, hi. You're on with Dr. Pannozzo.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
I'm just telling you, just as listening to the show, I find it completely, and I don't know, but I find it nuts that these billion-dollar organizations like the NFL and Major League Baseball, like if there was another, like say the Tommy John surgery, if those guys, you would think those guys use the best doctors, they do their research. If there's a way around doing surgery, why don't they do it? Like, you know what I mean? Like it just sounds great as just a normal listener. It just sounds completely nuts.
You're right.
That a guy thinks he can do all this when, and wouldn't you think, to me, billion-dollar organizations would know about this?
No, because they're surrounded by orthopedic surgeons who are in control. That's why. Remember, these guys don't have any treatments. All they have is a trainer with the surgeon. So when you have the same pain for a while, they're going to say, well, you got to be operated. And so the expert says, I got to be operated. So the players don't know anything. They're coming out of school. And I say, okay, well, they're now ruined in their future. And they should try this other stuff first. We do this stuff for a living every day. So this is nothing unusual, and it's not nuts. This is very scientific, based on the anatomy.
And you've taken care of quite a few NFL players after they retired. They said, where the heck were you? I could have got another year.
That's right.
And Keith, think of it this way. Harvey on the Mets is not pitching because Scott Boras and Dr. Andrews, the two people, are defending the procedure that was done, the Tommy John procedure. Right. And they're defending it because Harvey's been stinking up the joint the last couple of starts, and they want to blame it to protect the operation on the amount of innings. And you're 110% correct. If I own the team, $1 billion, why not look at a different way of healing something?
Why don't you, to the caller, why don't you go into your computer and look up Tommy John surgery and read about it? You'd be surprised what you're going to read.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Most of it doesn't exist.
And just to let you know, Keith, it's a great call. Thank you so much for calling. Dr. Pannozzo, I've met, and I know a couple of athletes, Miami Dolphin fans and Cleveland Brown fans, that after they left the NFL, they went to see him because one of the guys said, you got to see this guy with chronic pain. And they said, wow, why don't they hire him? We could have gone a year, 2 years with this. I said,
yeah, one of them offered me a
Ferrari.
A Ferrari. He said, if you'd had let me play one more year, I'd have bought you a Ferrari. He lost $12 million one more year. Can you imagine that? He retired because of a pain I took out in one day.
Yeah.
Now, this caller is going to say, well, that's crazy. That can't happen. It does happen. It does happen every day.
It's a big money game. It's big money.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling in, Keith.
Thank you, sir. Okay, great. I agree with Keith. Why hasn't the NFL just taken the time to research him?
Because of the normal orthopedic surgeon does not want any competition. When he walks on water and he says, you need this, you go do it. That's it. You don't say anything.
No, but I agree with you with what you just said. Yes,
but that's the way it is.
So in other words, Fred, you were a coach. So if you want to say, look, I want to go see this doctor, they're going to say no.
If I was a major league manager, I would say all of you guys are going to go see him post-haste.
No, that's what I mean. If you didn't know him.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you know something? I'm going to tell you something about managers. They listen to 1,000 phone calls a day. 1,000.
Right.
Saying, listen, I got this kid who can throw 98. I got this kid that can run like a deer. I got a doctor that may be resolving your problem. You know what they do with that phone call? They hang up. Because if they go to their GM and say, hey, I know this Dr. Pannozzo or something, they're going to say, you're fired. Ain't nobody going to give up $1 million a year by trying something new. That's the problem with the game.
The surgeons are protecting, they take responsibility. I'm not saying they don't, but they're protecting their lucrative contract.
Absolutely.
And when you have a contract with a team, they can't go around this guy. They have a contract.
And Scott Boras is the biggest agent on the market.
Oh, yeah.
The biggest. Not big, biggest.
Bigger than Drew Rosenhaus?
Absolutely.
Really?
He should really get educated because this guy is not doing the best job he can for his client.
Well, Scott, if you're listening to that, don't scream when you call because he screams like a banjo.
Not only that is this before I have a lot of people that are calling in and asking questions. For those agents who want to protect their income and want to protect their players, for those managers and owners of the NFL, all you have to do is get in your car, come see this gentleman, listen to what he has to say, and you know what? You might save yourself a couple $1 million a year because your play could be. I'm looking at these. There were 2 players that were out with groin injury, undetermined when they're going to be back.
Groin injuries are easy to take care of.
Well, let me tell you about
we do this every day. I mean, what the problem with a groin injury? I mean, that's
I'm going to tell you right now, a wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts.
Go ask the guy.
Has a groin injury.
Yeah.
He's not going to play tomorrow. Thank you.
That's right.
I hope they're not listening to the show because he's good.
Some guy called me from San Francisco. He's been treated for over a year for a groin injury.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So I took a little history over the phone. The guy has a hip problem, which is treatable in 1 day. Okay? It tells you what.
It's a specific treatable illness. Specific.
Cause and effect, where'd it come from?
Doc ain't telling us everything, but it's specific.
If you're not improving in 2 or 3 treatments, you're in the wrong office, including mine.
Right.
And he doesn't have to fly to Boca.
Keith, you ought to listen to this.
He doesn't have to fly to Boca. He could go to Phoenix.
Yes, indeed.
Well,
he could drive to Phoenix.
came in Monday for my groin pain. Tuesday was on the treadmill. Wednesday I was doing leg exercises, and now it's a little over 9 months. I still don't have any problem.
Hey, Doc, Mo Wilkinson had a groin injury 6 weeks ago. First game in preseason. Now, Mo Wilkinson is the number 1 pick of the Jets 3 years ago. He is the top NFL guy. Top. He's probably better than the guys you guys signed with Miami, but he can't go 100%. Why? He has a groin injury.
Oh, man.
And what did they do? They sat him for 4 weeks. He did not practice. Now he's out of shape. Out of shape and can't get in the game.
That's a very good point you're making, that a professional athlete who depends on his body should not be sidelined for any time at all. You got to take care of that problem right now, because otherwise you start losing your ability. And it's like having a good brain and then not being able to use it. It's going to go bad. I mean, it's not going to be as sharp.
And he's in contract year, Doc.
Why he's getting paid then?
That means at the end of the year, he's got to renegotiate a new contract. So he's not putting up the money. You think the Jets are going to let this guy come to you?
Who knows? I don't know.
Well, I don't want the people in Atlanta to get mad at us, so I have to read a couple questions from Atlanta. Okay. Do you mind, anybody?
Not at all.
Let me read this one. Janice from Atlanta writes, I heard the show all week and was wondering if my doctor who said I needed shoulder surgery perhaps is completely wrong. The operation on my shoulder is going to cost a fortune, and I have 6 months to rehab to do it. I cannot fit my arm over my head, and sleeping at night is very painful. Can you help?
Yes, indeed. You'll sleep. If I treated you, you're going to sleep the same night. I see this stuff all the time.
Okay.
I mean, I had an elderly gentleman call me up and he says, everything is ripped out of my shoulder. My MRI says everything is ripped.
How could you do that?
How do you rip?
I said, how did you do that?
How do you rip
There's a 79-year-old guy who plays tennis once in a while. And that's what the MRI said. So I said, come on. And he had a small ligament sprain. Took one shot. He walked out, normal range of motion. Same day.
Wow.
I mean, this is what you're up against out there. I mean, the MRIs are read for surgery. Mm-hmm. They're not read for me. No. They're read for surgeons. I don't even get MRIs.
No.
They're useless.
We don't even do them, right?
I know the anatomy. I know what parts are injured in there. So we fix it. I mean, we don't have to have an MRI.
And do me a favor. When you come see Dr. Pannozzo, don't bring your
please
MRI.
Don't bring an MRI.
He gets crazy.
Don't
bring the MRIs,
and
please.
don't tell him what every other doctor did. Just come in and say, I'm here to get fixed.
Yeah. Because if we start going down memory lane, you're going to get them all bent.
You get them upset, and then I got to take them to lunch again and calm them down. I mean, come on. Think
we're going to give them blood pressure pills because everybody's telling him that.
You're giving them a wrong impression of me.
No,
not at all. We just telling them not to bring MRIs. You don't need them. Do you need them?
No, that's no.
No. That's all.
Something also for those people who haven't had the opportunity to meet Dr. Pannozzo. He happens to be a really nice guy, and also what happens is he takes every call because he wants to listen.
He cares.
And he cares. He does everything himself, which no doctor does. And, you don't sit waiting in 12 rooms for 2 hours.
Yeah, this is for Keith. I'm glad he called.
Yeah, that was a great call.
It's a great call.
Thank you so much.
What you have is you have a one-to-one relationship with me and the patient.
Yes.
There's nobody in between. There's no therapy,
right.
No x-ray, nothing. Just me and the patient. I do all of it. And why? That's top service.
Yeah.
What else you want? That's the best you can get.
No misinformation.
And the results are impressive.
Yeah.
And that's why. Yeah. And that's
these two gentlemen are telling you what is actually true.
We're patients.
Well, they're patients themselves, but they've also been there filming.
Absolutely. I got tons of film.
Yeah.
I got people that you fixed that were not able to move, and then they injured themselves because they got crazy playing sports. They went wacko. And it says, and I hurt myself because I play tennis again.
Well, I had someone from my gym come see Dr. Pannozzo, who had 2 knee surgeries. He couldn't play tennis and he couldn't work. I said, and I was talking to him one day. I said, you got to start working on your legs because the legs are a part of your body which is the biggest muscle. And then we start talking. I said, go see this guy. He's playing tennis now.
That's just
it took 3 visits for him because of the scar tissue from the surgery.
Exactly right.
That's what he was suffering from. People say, well, my knee still hurts. Your knee does not hurt. Your knee is not in there.
Right.
It's the area.
But, I mean, isn't that amazing? 2 surgeries he went to supposedly, can you see my quote hands? This is what you need. Well, guess what? He's taking the pain away from the guy. So I mean, what we're talking is not magic. It's real medical care.
Yeah.
And don't forget, the patient is the one who judges whether his pain is there or not.
That's right. Tell him what you do. You don't leave the office.
You don't leave the office if you think you have the same pain that you walked in with.
And we had problems there because they couldn't find the pain. Well, when I go like this all the way back, I don't have that anymore.
They want to run out. I said, I'm going to get a cop to hold you here. You're not running out with that same pain.
Okay.
But Doc, I saw a lady came in with knee pain, and she was walking with you out the door. She had no more pain. And she kept saying, well, aren't you going to give me any anti-inflammatories? And then, no, we don't do that. She says, but I'm still in pain. He says, you're walking with me. You look pretty. She looked pretty good, I'm going to tell you. She says, oh, am I?
Hey, Freddy, what would you say if I told you I was there when a chiropractor came in to get cured?
Really?
I guess go.
A working chiropractor or
no, still working.
retired?
No, still working. Dr. Pannozzo introduced me to him. I won't mention any names because it's not right. And I said, "What do you do for a living?" He said, "Oh, I'm a chiropractor." So I had to go into the bathroom and start laughing. So everything we've said, they're even coming in.
Well, the bottom line here is you can still be a chiropractor.
Sure.
I mean, you can come see Dr. Pannozzo, you get fixed, and then go get a rub down.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the problem with that?
I can't say what my feeling, but guess what?
Even rehab, Doc. You take care of my knee. If I want to rehab the area or whatever.
Rehab? What the hell?
I don't know, but what
mean?
difference does it make?
It doesn't mean anything. You're
It doesn't.
putting your hands in a technician's hands, not in my office, you know.
No, I understand that. I go rehab a different part.
You know, I was telling Dr. Pannozzo, I'm reading Men's Health magazine, and here's what people don't understand. I just want to bring this out to people. And on the health magazine, it said the Japanese study in wherever shows that by touching the ear in different ways, you can remove,
I heard
have
that.
no more pain.
I heard that.
Okay, so but they don't say it can be cured.
Well, what you're talking about is what this article says.
All right, yeah, it
This
can
is
be.
an advertisement.
Yeah,
What is that article, Doc?
And this is relief pain with no drugs and no surgery. This is Dr. APDOM AP 699. This is not even a physician.
right.
This is an acupuncturist.
Acupuncturist.
And guess what he's treating?
What's he treating, Doc?
Can I read these things to you?
Yes, you can.
Absolutely.
Do you have an hour?
No.
Not really.
We do not.
You want another hour, Doc? We'll kick the other guy off.
Specializes in the following. He's going to treat all these things with acupuncture. Herniated discs, sciatica, scoliosis, spinal stenosis, bone spurs, pinched nerve, back and neck pain, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. It removes artery clog, migraines, auto injuries, arthritis, facial aging, fatigue, low energy, stop smoking, weight gain, fibromyalgia, depression, shingles, diabetes, neuropathy, insomnia, tremor, vertigo, enlarged
Okay.
enlarged
Doc, what, does he
prostate,
kill you?
gout, stroke, energy medicine, and much more.
And much more.
Hey, Doc.
Each one of these has a diagnosis that goes with it, and you can't treat all of these,
Doc,
none of these with acupuncture.
He cuts your throat. He kills you. You leave with no more pain. You're dead. You're done.
You know, there was a show on TV
Holy mackerel.
Oh my God,
called
I
Bunk,
can't believe it.
B-U-N-K. And they actually had doctors like Dr. Pannozzo, who's a medical doctor, talking about what is really false. And they came up with 4 things. Acupuncture,
Yep,
chiropractic,
yep,
magnets,
yep,
and in some cases, you ready for this one? Physical therapy.
right. That is true.
And this was
We're going through this with Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They want you to order physical therapy. Well,
why?
if you don't
It doesn't
have
work.
for backache or something
Right.
like that. Well, if you don't know what you're talking about, you might do that.
Mhm.
But that just prolongs the agony of the patient. It is not secure in your diagnosis or your outcome. So you just let them play with them. You know, that's what happens. And the insurance will pay for that. Well, I come along and I give you a diagnosis
Right.
of where the problem actually is. Is there therapy for that? No, there is not.
Well,
So, I mean, you're gonna subject the people to a nonsense like that, or
They
do you
should be
wanna-
happy with
or
you.
do you want to take care of them?
They should be happy with you, Blue Cross.
I think you want to take care of them.
Yeah, but not only that, how much
But
money
what
they save?
does the patient want? He wants you to take care of him.
And what are the 2 things you must have in your life with no one telling you? Your medical care and your money.
Oh,
Only you're responsible
where
for
have
that.
I heard that?
I think you told me. Over a
That is
slice
true.
of pizza. Okay. I got to take some more. Guys, I got to read some of these.
Yeah.
Atlanta's very big with what you do. Jimmy from Atlanta writes, I've had pain in my legs for about 2 years, ankle pain and pain in my calf. Doctors have said that I have pain from a combination of flat feet and heavy lifting from work. I listened to your show last week and have learned that perhaps my condition is from something else. Can you help me? I can tell you right now. Don't answer. Yes.
Yes.
Where do you think that condition's coming from, Doc?
What?
Where do you think that his particular ailment is coming from?
Ankle?
Well, we had someone who came in with ankle pain.
Or he has flat feet, ankle pain, calf pain.
Well, there's a local place in the ankle that do it, and but it's also referred from the lower back.
Yeah.
If you take a proper history, you can find that out. And in fact, just yesterday, I had something like that.
Well, you had Leah.
I mean, Friday.
Yeah, and you had Leah with the same thing.
Same thing. And I treated this fella's ankle, and he should have been okay, and he wasn't, according to him. So I said, well, the only other place will do that is your lower back. So I put him on my C-arm, my fluoroscope, and gave him a couple of shots up there, and that pain left before he left. I did not touch that ankle.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
People look in the wrong places to resolve the pain.
Well, this is what a diagnostician does.
That's right.
I mean, you build on your history of the anatomy, the physiology. I mean, it's really complicated what goes on in there. This body is a wonderful piece, you know. You got to understand it. You can't just operate on the ankle. You got to know that the ankle is actually causing it, or it's referred from somewhere else.
Referred.
Okay, so that's what I do for a living. We give you a diagnosis.
Okay, let me get another one from Atlanta. A coach from Atlanta writes, I heard a show you recommended children playing Pee Wee football get evaluated by you. Can you please explain how this would help in playing football at such an early age? I want parents to hear what you have to say because I've asked them perhaps to go and see you. We run a highly competitive program in Georgia.
Well,
basically what he's saying is, like Freddy said a long time ago with NFL players, do you think they should come in and see you before they play ball to make sure that...
Well, that's how you protect your investment. Now,
Right.
as far as the children go, they do a lot of things that make them get hurt.
Yes, they
Little
do.
League baseball, Little League football, I mean, falling off their dad's shoulders. I mean, there's all kinds of things. On a swing, and that can all be evaluated really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's a range of motion test, and it's not invasive. No x-rays are involved, and you can really pick this stuff up. Same thing with the NFL players. If you know what to look for, a lot of them are being hired with a bad problem.
That's right.
And then it just gets worse, and now it's the NFL's problem.
That's right.
The owner
Exactly right.
has now a liability on his hand. Whereas if we examined them ahead of time, now see, surgeons don't do this kind of work.
No, they
do
don't.
surgery.
They operate.
They do surgery. You understand the difference. And the trainers don't do this kind of work either. They want to think they do, but they don't. There's so much they don't know, and it's surprising that they have that.
Well, that's an interesting point, Doc, because my son, Freddy, had a groin pull, and he had a concussion, but it wasn't playing sports. It was in school. Okay, so I went and picked him up, followed the ambulance 2 times. In that case, if they come to see you, they've had injuries that are not related to the football field.
Right.
So I think that what this coach wants to know is if you got injuries away from the field, you'll be able to evaluate.
Yeah, if you're normal, you're normal. If you're not, it shows. It's a special exam. I mean, this is not playtime now.
No, we're not. Now we're very serious. Look, my groin injury didn't come from lifting weights. It came from taking something out of my trunk on a trip that pulled it, and he found it out.
Freddie got his playing kickball.
Yeah.
And do you know that the gym teacher, he didn't know what to do when I got there? He had Freddie sitting down, and Freddie was holding his area, and he was crying. He was in a lot of pain.
No, it's painful.
So I said to him, he has a groin pull. Don't you know that? And he said no, and they took him to the hospital, which is what you did in the day.
Well, yeah, and then there's orthopedic surgeons look at you, and there's 5 sources of groin pain, 5. And they're not going to be able to diagnose that because they're not surgical.
Mm-hmm. That's a very good point.
But we should do a seminar for the coaches.
We should.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get one more question in, then I'm going to give Dr. Pannozzo's his number. This is from Atlanta also. It's from Dale. He writes, my hip was hurt from being in the military and serving 4 tours overseas. Thank you very much for that, buddy. We really do appreciate that. My hips have never been the same since. I had a bad fall, and the VA continues to do therapy to help me at no avail. Can someone like me be helped with this inflammation in my hip? Both sides hurt me.
Well, of course. I mean, they say to the therapy, what do you think the therapists are going to do? They don't diaggnose anything. I mean you're wasting your time. You should know that after the 2nd or 3rd visit.
Right.
I've been saying that. And come on and see me, and we can fix it up for
And
you.
you would think that the VA would know better.
No.
I mean, this is what you would think.
Yeah,
No,
this man served
that's
his
not
country.
true.
He deserves not to be in pain anymore. You know, we thank you for what you've done, and you know, all the military people out there. God bless you every day. I want to give Dr. Pannozzo's number out so you could call him after 12. It's 561-381-5800. Give him a call, come in, look at him, when we come in, he's going to tell you. And people, don't say I came for a free consultation, because he's going to tell you have pain. I can fix it. What do you want?
That's right. And the way he does it is specific to your needs.
Yeah.
I was treated one way, Les was treated another.
It depends on what the anatomy shows.
Exactly.
You're dealing with a body that has substance. You have to know it before you can treat it.
That's right. And don't bring in the MRIs. We don't need that.
No.
And if you're on east of the Mississippi, Dr. Pannozzo is here in Boca. But west of the Mississippi, you have his son in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, yeah. How come your son didn't call today?
He just bought a new house and he's moving.
Okay, good. Again, folks, 561-381-5800. Or if you just want to pop in one day, it's 16244 Military Trail. And let me tell you something. Don't be surprised when you walk in there and you see people going, oh, my God, he's the best. I've seen guys that's come in with those electric scooters. Came in a couple of months later, the guys with on crutches. Came in the last time, he got a cane. Guess what? He doesn't come in anymore. You know why?
He's done.
He's done.
He's fixed.
I mean, come on.
I've seen it. I've been there.
Well, you get the opposite, though. Somebody will call up and say, oh, none of those shots work. I'm worse than ever. Baloney. That is not true. It doesn't happen.
Well,
absolutely doesn't happen.
People that it's funny. You don't want to recommend somebody.
Usually there's somebody that owes me cash. So.
Yeah,
they're the ones that don't get fixed.
Those are the ones that don't get fixed.
Well, to me, if I didn't have insurance, I would have paid no matter what he asked.
Well, this is another point we should do before we leave, and that is don't let your insurance company tell you how to take care of yourself, because their goals are not your goals. Their
goals is to make money.
Make money.
Your
goals are to get treated.
Right.
And the two do not are not compatible.
No, they're not.
The more they pay out for treatments, the less they make, and you're going to have a hard time doing that. For instance, the Palm Beach County teachers. They have United Healthcare,
yes.
I think. All right. They have in-network and out-of-network. What hell stupidity is in-network and out-of-network? What does that mean? Does that mean the ones in-network are better trained than the ones out-of-network?
No, I think
what does that mean?
I think that means is there's certain people that could go see their own doctors, and there are certain people that have to see their doctors.
But that's a false thing, because we're all trained the same, and I happen to be top in my field.
Yeah.
And I was out of network for the teachers.
Right.
So the last teacher we had on Friday paid out of pocket because he wanted the best treatment there was.
Well, the in-network usually means that they pay them a very small amount of money. You don't get no help.
I don't know if it means
Today
that.
went too fast, Doc. So again, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, 860-1230.
Thanks a lot, guys.
And 94.3 and 561-381-5800. Have a great day. Colleen's going to hit me in about 2 minutes. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
This has been the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour with Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. If you spend 5 minutes with Dr. Pannozzo, you'll see he genuinely enjoys helping others. Visit Dr. Pannozzo online at www.paincentersnationwide.com or call him at 561-381-5800. Dr. Pannozzo will consult with you to determine the best solution to your pain needs. 561-381-5800 is the number to call, even if it's just for a second opinion. Join Dr. Pannozzo next week when he brings you more important information on the physics of weight-bearing and engineered concepts for the body.